Okay. I'll hopefully get some people on here. Tweet it out. Live everyone. And where's Discord?
So, how are you doing this? Through three different things, or?
It's on YouTube.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
Oh, hang on. What? Already restarting, and they're already interrupted. All right, give me a sec.
Oh, God. Hello, Darth. Hello, Jamaican. Hello, Train Boy. Hello, Dragon Master. I know who the hell you are. Hello, hello, Cameron. You can just call him Nick. You have to call him Worms. That's just his tag. We just call him Nicky17. And already starting live, and so where's it? Yeah, he has to go and check. And the cats are meowing. I picked a great day for this. Let's wait for him to come back. Hey, BSP. Hello, Mullet Fox. Windmill, windmill for the land. Right, YouTube chat. I need to. There we go. I swear every time. Hello, Comfort. Can't believe it took me a while to realise the chat was behind everything. So, live everyone, we're going to be talking about a couple of news stories, and if you got a question, I suggest either put it in the chat or use on Twitter using the hashtag BBItemBox.
Indeed, what he just said.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. Junior's in the chat, by the way.
Great. Hello. Hey, Junior.
So, okay, let's start. We got like 9 people. Keep going. So, let's start off.
What's the news about? And number 9.
Okay. First one. This is a surprise. This is the latest news we're talking about.
As in, we just discovered it a minute
Yeah.
ago.
We discovered it just before we started streaming. So this is the freshest one. Hello, Marking Kawhi. Everyone remembers Mighty Number 9 and how much of a disappointment that was. But it's not really disappointment. It's just how out of turn crash and burn was invented.
Yeah. It's something that I think Charles Hustle once said about, there's going to be one game that will really mess up Kickstarter, and there you go.
Yeah, and now we have like apparently Ukulele is a disappointment. I don't agree. I'm actually quite enjoying the game. I just haven't touched it in 3 days because I'm playing Mario Kart.
I can't say anything. I like Teams Every Day, but I can't say a thing about that.
That cat is meowing like mad. But surprisingly, Inti Creates wants to make a sequel. Introducing Mighty Gunvolt Burst for the Nintendo Switch and 3DS.
If Mighty Number 9 was not a Mega Man ripoff enough, then here you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Mighty Gunvolt Verse offers the most meaningful improvements. The original Mighty Gunvolt was a tiny snack-sized game that cutely combined elements of both Azure Striker Gunvolt and Mighty Number 9, which Inti co-developed. Into a simple, lightweight action game that spans a handful of quick levels. Burst, on the other hand, is a full game which, one Inti representative compares to the classic Mega Man game, saying Burst will offer a similar amount of material to contend with. And we saw the trailer, and I'm not too sure whether or not I can actually post a trailer in the chat, but I'll just...
You will see it, my friends. You will see it.
Nope. So, I haven't played Mighty Number 9. I just know what it is and what it represent. Speak up. Okay, sorry. So, live everyone. I haven't done this before.
It's all new here. All new here.
Hey, Shady Stick. Okay, sorry about the volume. Like, it's the first time doing like all this. Like, I planned this ever since episode 50 of Item Box. It's like episode 100 is like this is needed to be done,
Yeah, it's like movie executives. We planned this to be a franchise.
and not to fuck it up as much as it is
Yeah,
right now.
not to mess this up.
Yeah, so Mighty Gunvolt Burst is basically, hey, you want Mega Man 11? Here's Mega Man 11.
Yeah, just with that other guy who's not Mega Man.
Honestly, it just seems kind of out of the blue. It's like, why the hell would you make a sequel to something who's the biggest disappointment on Kickstarter? And like one of the worst games of 2016.
Yeah, well, it's again, my number nine is funny. I mean, funny enough, I actually got to play this game once back in I think a year before they pushed it again. I can't remember when because they kept delaying the game over and over again. But it was for the Wii U, and I remember playing it, and I just thought like, okay, for what it is. If you just took it as a game in itself, it's just a kind of, quiche, nice platforming shoot 'em up type game.
It's just like, hey, is an official successor, but whereas at the same time we have what Mega Man Unlimited and Mega Man Cross Street Fighter, which were just more better games developed by fans.
Mm.
This was just every single time they delayed it, you just know something's gonna fuck up more
This
and
is,
more.
to be fair, it feels like everybody said this again. This feels like what Mega Man would be like if you just took the basic gameplay, put it in 3D, and it was on the PS2.
Pretty much, even though we already had that in terms of Mega Man X.
I know, but I'm just saying that's pretty much what we got here. I mean, I think the anticipation and the sort of overall hype of it made you feel like, oh, it's going to do brand new things you've never seen in the formula before, but it didn't really happen, did it?
No, and I don't really blame Inti Creates for it either, because they're actually
They're blaming Kenji Ifune, so that's what they're
they're
doing.
blaming Concept more. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, Concept more than anything else. Like Inti Creates is not a bad developer.
Hmm.
Like, what was it? The Mega Man 9 and 10, they were decent. 9 is still the best Mega Man game I've ever fucking played. I don't care what anyone else says. DuckTales Remastered is pretty good. What else did they
Wasn't
make?
that Way Forward, though?
Oh yeah, I don't know when I see it.
Remastered was Way Forward, I think.
Alright, what was it? They made something else and it was good. And it says here they also made Blaster Master Zero,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty decent.
Yeah.
So there is hope for this. Like, hey, this is basically, hey, sequel to Mighty Number 9. We're not gonna fuck it up because
Well,
we have full
Yeah.
control over this, and this
Yeah.
could actually pull it into the franchise it actually wanted to be at the beginning, rather than just like one game, fucked it, move on.
Yeah, well, I think
How's Red Ash doing these days?
I think of it in terms of anything. When's the last time you had any news about that?
It was funded by by a company in China, and the anime's been funded as well in production, and we're going to expect it June, July this year.
Yeah.
That's the last I heard of it.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, even then, it's like My Number 9 was going to have an animated series, which you're already jumping the gun. It's like your first game's not even out yet. How do you know people want to see a fully 10-minute, half an hour show about this one character?
Yeah. So, and that's a problem. Why the hell is my nose itchy? Every single time I live stream, my nose itches like fucking crazy. It's like a habit.
Your nose is against you, my friend.
It's against me. And like we were talking earlier about, basically, I was talking about Power Rangers and just how shit Megaforce was. I went on to like with the Power Rangers movie, it was planned to be a 6-part movie arc. And there was an article saying we're probably not gonna make a second film now. It's like, no fucking shit.
Yeah, I mean, you're lucky to make one.
Yeah, that's why I don't like. We think you can make it in one game, see how well it goes first, then make a sequel. Because that's the way it works. And even though the sequels seem to be a bit more diverse, a bit more free flowing, like comparing Crash Bandicoot 1 to Crash Bandicoot 2, or even Spyro 1 to Spyro 2.
Yeah.
Like how different are they?
Hmm.
And that's how it works. Once you get your first foot in, there you go. Don't instantly make a fucking cliffhanger. Assassin's Creed is a good example. That wasn't a great game, It was good.
It was hyped. That was a big hype.
It was hyped as shit because, like, hey, Assassin's Creed successor. But
Well, actually,
it ended on
it
a
was like
fuck.
it's Prince of Persia for the 21st century.
It ended on a cliffhanger. Okay, it ended on a freaking cliffhanger. And it's like
Mm.
Assassin's Creed, and Assassin's Creed 2 is very different compared to Assassin's Creed 1.
Mm.
But if the first one wasn't a success, why the hell would you make a cliffhanger?
Mm. I mean, the thing is, cliffhangers are partly there because they always let people who, at least it gets their like, inquisitive nature just buzzing in their heads. Even if they go like, well, the game's okay, but as soon as you put into to be continued, they're immediately like, I want to know what happens next. Tell me.
Yeah, and that's the only way. It's like, what was another example of a media franchise? Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, well,
Curse of the Black Pearl ended normally. Bit of a pseudo narrative cliffhanger. It's like, oh, the while ago
there's
this,
more they could do,
yeah,
but whatever.
but it ended fine. It's like, you know what? I can watch this and be happy about the ending.
Mm,
Then Dead Man's Chest comes out,
yeah,
and
which was made at the same time as World's
that
End,
was a shit film.
and that was made at the same time as World's End, which
Yeah,
apparently
it ended on a fucking cliffhanger though, and the only reason why anyone actually saw it World's End was because of that damn cliffhanger. That's the reason why I saw it.
Yeah. And hell, talking about that, we're in 2011,
17.
2017.
Yeah.
That's where we're at this point, and they're already making the fifth one already.
Yeah.
So there you go, mates.
But again, it's like someone brought up like a previous episode.
So I definitely love if any of you guys listening into this, please let us any other media outlets you know that have promised a big global
one of them
franchise.
Rush Riff brought up saying, "Do you want to make a run as a good game again after screwing the first one up?" So yeah, why would it be a Sonic Runner sequel if the first one is a failure? Like we talked about before, it was originally going to be a Sonic Boom game, but that failed.
Yeah.
So decided, you know what, let's make it original.
Hmm.
Just
And even then, I think
happens to have the name of a failing game.
yeah, exactly. I mean, again, we talked about this before when we found out more about what Boom started off being synergy and the early concepts of that game. And a lot of people saying, would that have been a better game? And at the end of the day, I don't think it would have saved it. I think all the technical issues we talked about this before, if that was all lined out, it would have been a okay kind of platforming beat 'em up game like Crash the Titans, because that's essentially what Rise Alert really is. It's basically, go from one thing to another story bit and then beat a bunch of enemies. And that alone is like, if you can make that work, that's not terrible, but that's not really going to be the big news step forward people assumed it was going to be, or the press, I think, really, when the game came out, was making it out.
No. So hopefully the Gunvolt game, which we already have seen the gameplay of, showing you all seen the trailer in the. I'll put the trailer in the description after the stream ends on its archive, because
Yeah, by the way, folks,
this will be available for viewing afterwards, and we're just gonna cut it all down, and release it in individual episodes for each subject we talk about.
Yeah. By the way, folks, it did actually have a little claimer at the bottom saying all footage is still in development. So, again, I wouldn't be surprised how much this game changes before it comes out. If we get another Mighty Number 9 incident with Mighty Number 9 again, then we'll know we're screwed.
Well, at least it's actually fully developed by Inti and not being hand-holded.
I know, exactly. So, hopefully it won't look shit when it comes out.
Moving on to our next news. Hopefully from TSSD, and this has been bringing up for quite a while considering the amount of news from Sega themselves. Sega plan to revive major IPs while Sega Sammy is recovering from restructure. And as far as major IPs go, we've recently seen Sega port some console exclusives to Steam, such as Bayonetta and recently Vanquish. Bayonetta is an awesome game. You should also all go get it. PC won't probably be the best version, but he wants a bit more extra content to it. The Wii U version is one hell of a hard find. Luckily, I fucking got it.
Yeah.
But Vanquish is also a good first-person shooter as well. So right now, you seem to be porting a lot of Platinum Games games. One man's seen a PC version of Mad World. We take out all the motion controls.
Who knows? Used to say that's not the next thing.
It's probably going to be Anarchy Reigns anyway.
Alright.
And if Sega gets off their ass and does a deal with Nintendo, hey, you could get Bayonetta 2 on Steam.
I think it's more the case of when the deal with Nintendo ends, really, because I know they re-released Lego City Undercover. That was a Wii U exclusive, and now it's on all the other machines now.
What one?
Lego City Undercover.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that is on Steam now. I thought I'm wondering why. Why is that a new game? It's like been out for ages. Oh,
Yeah, yes, we've done our deal with Nintendo, so we can take a game and go somewhere else with it.
and make more money on that because the Wii U sold like shit.
Providing if people are still interested to play a 5-year-old game or whatever.
Yeah, if I was like, honestly, if I was like a lot of console exclusives, there's like plenty of console exclusives. Like we still need Unleashed for PC.
Hmm.
Even a lot of people say, well, it is. You just have to get get a PlayStation ID, go on the PSN now, and play it on there. It's like streaming it through a PlayStation Network is not the same as playing it on Steam.
Hmm.
It's not the same. It's like, hell, hey, you can actually play it on a PC because apparently PlayStation allows you to have their PSN now to stream it on there.
Hmm.
Cloud streaming, not essentially stream like video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as little console exclusives, like there's plenty, like nearly every single fucking Sonic game released on console other than Generations and Lost World. Like 06 part, anyone? Able to fix that?
If you're that desperate.
Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, I still hold up saying, hey, put it on PC, hey, it will look 10 times better. But as far as other major IPs, like, what's the word on ToeJam and L4?
Oh, back in the groove. Well, at the minute the last time I heard of it, the game is playable. They did show it at PAX. At this point, particularly, one of the things they did sort of promise about us was we were going to get the game in a playable state. Although at this point, it's like, well, we've shown it off. There's no point in giving you an early beta test of the game. So we're just doing the sensible thing. You know, when the game's finished, we give it to you first. Unlike what we just talked before. You know, give it to the publishers. Don't bother the people who actually funded the game. You know, because that's stupid.
Yeah. So yeah, technically getting a ToeJam and L4. It's like, what other IPs, like maybe a full-on PC version of Shinobi on 3DS. Like just beef up the graphics that they did with Arkham Origins Blackgate and Castlevania Lords of Shadows Mirror of Fate. It's like the only Castlevania I know that has 2 subtitles. So those were upped from 3DS counterparts to downloadable console and Steam releases. So Shinobi 1 would be out of the question. Then you have other games like maybe going way back, maybe a new PC online version of Gunstar Heroes 3. Because that, honestly, Gunstar Heroes is fucking awesome. Gunstar Future Heroes or Superheroes is an awesome single player experience, but you're missing out on all the multiplayer components.
Yeah.
Honestly, could have easily done a link cable thing, but bring back Alex Kidd.
Yeah, that's a big
Actually, port Puyo Tetris to all the consoles, not just the Switch. There is a PS4 version, but it's Japan exclusive.
That may change though, so.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah. It's actually funny because on this little article on TSSE, there's a whole thing. They got a little pictograph here of like, particularly they're talking about domestic studios, European studios, North American studios, and in them they kind of got all the different games like domestic Asian, Fantasy Star, Puyo Pop, Persona, new IPs, European Total War, Football Manager, Endless. Not sure what the hell that is, and new IPs.
Endless is a new PC game by one of their in-house stuff. I can't remember what they do.
Okay, then. And the North American side, we've got Company of Heroes, Dawn of War, new IPs again, and also Sonic, surprisingly. Which, you think at this point, wouldn't everything to do with Sonic just want to stick with Sonic Team Japan rather than letting Americans fiddle with it again?
Well, it depends, really, because I'll still stand by that Sonic Chronicles wasn't a bad game. It wasn't a great RPG, but for someone like me who doesn't actually play RPGs... Who doesn't play RPGs, I actually enjoyed it. It turned... Sure, fair enough, the Elite Agent style gameplay of doing special moves wasn't great, okay? But because I played Elite Agents a lot, I was used to it. Then again, you can get a chow in the game that actually takes that away, so you can just sit back and watch the animations.
I was going to say, I mean, that's something they could definitely try and port and see what the hell that happens with.
Yeah, do a sequel to that. But then again, BioWare is owned by EA, and we're not too sure whether or not. Mind you, Atlas could do a good RPG with Sonic.
They got them under the belt.
Yeah,
they could go to them, really.
See, there's so many IPs they could do, but then again, a lot of IPs they actually tried redoing is... what was it? Knights.
Yes.
Yeah, was it the Takeshi Iizuka, or was one of the other directors really wanted to make a Knights 3?
I think it was Satoshi Yukaza because he's the main guy. Really, I mean, really, he's like one of the main people behind it, as well
Yeah,
as Yuji Naka.
for as awkward as the motion controls are gonna be, can you imagine playing this on the Switch with the controllers?
Could work. I mean,
Even then, you just use the use the Pro controller anyway.
yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see if they try and again port that to like PC, whatever other consoles as well. And again, I've always said before that I would love the idea for a Knights 3. They should really try and make it one argument one gimmick they always try and talk about is like, the feeling of flying. I've said before, you never feel like you're flying. You're really just going on an on-rail arcade timer game, really. That's what you're doing.
Unless you actually put it in VR and you yourself are knights.
I know, and I'm just saying, there you go. There's a great opportunity to get Knights out again if, do a VR simulation of like the Sega Superstar thing, of actually flying through a world.
Yeah, because if it,
I think it's not the question.
PSP points out Sega learns from their mistakes, but people like to bring up their past mistakes.
Yeah, don't they fucking do? Well,
Yeah,
at this point,
like, remember when Sega had let a human girl kiss a dead animal?
yeah.
Yeah, he came back to life and turned supersonic, so that kiss was pretty fucking magical.
Yeah.
Then again,
It's any different from stabbing a polygonal lady in a RPG game and everybody getting emotionally invested in that.
yeah. I mean,
Then again, I met a lot of people who actually said, I don't care about Aerith, I care about Sephiroth. I would go to bed with him. I generally met people.
I ship Sephiroth for life.
Yeah, that type of shit. I mean, God Almighty, that was my first. I think that was my first time I realized. Yeah, there are people out there who enjoy that weird stuff, but I'm not judging any of you guys, so don't worry.
So as far as bringing up IPs like this, bringing up, I need to blow my nose eventually. I swear, every time the dust just flies past and itches.
Yeah.
If the sales are doing okay with Bayonetta, Vanquish, I guarantee the next ones will be Anarchy Reigns, or maybe even a souped up part of Infinite Space. Because City of Platinum games seem to be getting ported first.
Yeah.
So eventually we could see a part of Sonic Unleashed, or even just like for fun, Sonic 06. It's like, here's the Steam Workshop page, all right?
Go crazy. Yeah, exactly. I think the problem really, it's interesting to talk about revitalizing the IP because I still remember when they tried to do this back in like the PS2 era. Like I remember when they tried to do Shinobi.
Shinobi was shit.
Yeah,
but not as bad as its successor / sequel, Nightshade.
Yeah,
that was worse.
Yeah, Altered Beast, and then even one point we were even going to try and do Vectorman again. In fact, they actually had an idea for a Vectorman game,
yeah,
but they
I remember the trailer very much in the PS2 disc.
Yeah,
and they cancelled that. And on 360, it brought back Golden Axe and.
Yeah, that was good. But again, I think that's the problem is then they have brought back these IPs before. It's just nobody cared about them before. So it's kind of like, if you do it again, are you going to bother this time? Because we'll put the effort in. We'll try. Just, will you bother to actually buy the damn things?
Well, as long as we actually put all our work into it and actually, hey, do our due diligence. Like, hey, Sega, we want this, but we want it made good. But not to the point where, hey, I got a laundry list of shit, do this. Like, it's all worked in previous games, you put it all into one, it'll work.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
everyone does for every single Sonic game. This is what works in the classics and the adventure and the modern. Like, put all that in one game. It's like, no, that's counterintuitive.
Why do you think 06 failed? Because that was basically trying to do everything Adventure did.
Yeah, it was like Adventure 2, Heroes, Shadow. Like, we've got us all work. Let's put it all in. Put it all. It won't.
Cram it into a box.
You can't stick a square into a circle. Okay, it's like that.
Q-Box has taught us that.
Yeah.
What's Sonic Boom? It's a subliminal message.
So, I want a new Knights and Gunstar Heroes. That's all I want. As I say, someone who grew up with Sega, I want those two games.
I would like to definitely see them try these again. And at the end of the day, it's basically if there's if they can do something new with an old IP in a way that actually will complement the original, but actually add something new. That's what you do with a series. Like that's what you do with reviving IPs. It's like, hang on, we got a gameplay like here. Isn't there something like this we had before? It's like, yeah, why don't we try it out with that? That's how it works, really. I mean, let's be fair. Game industry, as we're talking about this, who's to say that there isn't a Knights VR game in development or a Gunstar Hero in development? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. We don't know. But if there's no interest in getting the actual things when they come out, then what's the point? I think that's really the big problem, really, with this sort of talk about IP revival. Is the audience going to be there, or they're going to bugger off and just get the next Resident Evil game?
Well, considering how many people actually still love Sega today, I guarantee you it will sell. Sega is probably one of the best third-party developers there is, next to Konami.
Well, the difference is that Sega can take, when people bring up their past, Arrow Rubber can make fun of it. Konami's attitude is money.
Mm. Oh yeah, Streets of Rage, Vector Man, Rise Star, and Jet Set. Those will be good.
Definitely Jet Set Radio.
I knew Streets of Rage just copy what Double Dragon did.
Yeah, saying Jet Set Radio, that's something that should come back. I mean, that's something that's begging.
Still speaking of bringing back IPs, this is a reasonable assessment from TSSZ. So, what's your name again? Noah Copeland. We're stealing your shit.
We're not stealing. We're plugging your shit.
We're plugging your shit, and basically, the amount of times we keep bringing up Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, it's like everyone brings Adventure 1 and 2. The Adventure games are the catalyst for most of the praise for the modern games right now, and also a lot of the actual hate.
Basically, everything that Sonic has done in 3D all started with those two games, and initially all the problems they've had are in those two games.
And the amount of times they've been ported, the amount of times that people have actually praised them, reviewed them, with some reviews being very influential, like Some Call Me Johnny and Pro Jared. Those are two names getting brought up all the time. Pro Jared, I agree with one thing, that the only reason a lot of people kept playing it was because of the Channel Garden. I guarantee you replayed City Escape and Radical Highway multiple times just to raise your damn Chow.
Yeah, just to get the Chow Garden up to scratch.
Yeah. So, but reasonable assessment pretty much ends with this. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 deserve remakes.
And what I mean by that is not just, again, a port. We're talking like Oddworld, Crash Bandicoot, full-on ground-up remakes.
Yeah, a lot of remakes we've got of old classic games, even some games that aren't really that classic. Just like we have Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy coming out this June.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a remake of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on 3DS. Mm-hmm. There's been a remake of Resident Evil, the first Resident Evil on GameCube, and that has been ported to nearly into every single fucking HD console in 4K, whatever, 60 frames per second.
And we're still waiting on the Resident Evil 2 proper remake as well. Trying to...
There's been a remake of the original Ratchet and Clank based on the movie, based on the game.
Great title.
Metroid Zero, yeah, that was back in a box.
Yeah.
Metroid Zero Mission is a remake of the first one, but with an extra story added at the end. And then there's also Super Mario 64 DS. Like all these games, they're all great. I haven't played Resident Evil HD because I don't play the original Resident Evil. But all of them, great games on their own. Because if you look back on, say, Super Mario 64, it's not a great game. And a remake fixed a few of those issues.
Yeah, we'll put it this way, one of the things the article does talk about is saying, when you look at Adventure 1 and 2, they have not aged well. But then again, neither has Mario 64 in some areas as well. So, if you're going to pick one, you might as well pick the other. It's a free-for-all, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think when I was actually messing around with my hacked Wii, I've hacked it to play American games and some emulators, so... Nintendo's not supporting it anymore, so who the hell fucking cares?
Yeah, as long as Nintendo doesn't get...
Emulation is evil!
Cease and desist, smashy.
Yeah, they don't care as long as you don't actually tell them. Playing Super Mario 64 again, like on the Project N64 emulator and on the N64 emulator on the Wii and even on the Virtual Console, it's not a good game anymore. It still has a lot of elements, but a lot of it has been fixed in Super Mario 64 3DS and has been fixed in subsequent sequels.
Again, that's what he says in the article, because really, when you go back, Super Mario 64 was basically, this is where it all began, and then you go like, okay, where's this thing from Galaxy? Where's this thing from Sunshine? It's like, they didn't happen yet. They happened in the next game.
Yeah. So, And that's like kind of one of the problems for me when playing Crash Bandicoot 1. I have played Crash 2 first from the demo disc. Like everyone else, we got the demo disc. We played that Polar level 100 times over. And when we went back to play because I remember renting Crash Bandicoot 2 several times so I can play and complete it. Then my stepdad bought Crash Bandicoot 1. He bought it brand new. We played it, and I was like, I want to play number 2. There was this Crash 1 is like introduction, Crash 2 refined and improved.
And then 3 is turned up to 11.
Yeah, I still prefer Crash 2 though.
Yeah. It's funny actually you say that because I actually did play Crash 1 and then we used to rent out Crash 2, the full game, for ages, and then I would often go like, I want the one with the jetpack in. Which, bizarre enough, as a kid, I never actually got to that part until years later, so...
And Josh Riv brings up in the comments, parts of the same game with small change. Like, yeah. Although, I will say Sonic Adventure DX is a remastered part, not a remake.
Yeah, there's a difference.
There's a port, there's a remaster, and then there's a remake.
Yeah.
Like,
and again, that's kind of the question, because again, I know with the Crash thing, a lot of them have saying, what do you mean by remastered? There's like, again, the Crash game is, they kept saying, it's a AAA redo of the first original games, basically. That's what they're saying. And that implies saying, we remade this game with all the basic stuff you know and love in the game, but we've updated it with all the visuals, the technicality, and, you know, you have the ability to basically play 3 games in one disc. And it's interesting because I know...
3 games on one disc is nothing new. I got a Jack trilogy on PS3.
Exactly, well, that's just convenience.
Yeah.
But again, it's interesting because we have been living through this time. We've gone through that period of remastering HD ports of games, and Yasi's brought this up so many, many times, is that it does make, it's kind of like the idea that the more technology-wise we go forwards, it's making the older stuff more irrelevant. And, you know, the idea these days, you know, why would you want to play on a Mega Drive? Why would you want to play the game on the PS1? You know, in many ways, it's to investors, to the people that make this stuff, they have no interest in that anymore because it's an outdated machine. They have nothing wanting to do with it anymore. I mean, the fact being like...
With like, emulation around, there's like very little point to own a Sega Mega Drive. It's like, especially we got retro USB making stuff for us. Mm-hmm. Like, oh hey, I want to play as Alice Kidd in the Enchanted Castle or Afterburner on the Mega Drive. Like, should I get original Mega Drive and go get it? No, you just get an emulator, go to retrousb.com, spend at least $20 on getting a USB Mega Drive controller. Or you want to play Super Nintendo, play Super Metroid, you can get a SNES version.
Yeah. But again, it's the argument of which version would you like to play. I mean, for instance, I got the New and Tasty a while back, and I've never played Oddworld, the original. I have played a bit of Exodus a little bit, but I never played the original Oddworld game, partly because it's very fucking hard, and particularly the one thing in New and Tasty was they've curved the difficulty a little bit by you've got checkpoints and you have the ability to save anywhere.
I've got it on PS4 and I never got as far as I did now. It's still hard, but I never got that far. I always get just like to the, I don't know, what was it? The Paramites?
Yeah.
I get as far as that and I keep dying. I never got further than that on the original PS1.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, there are some people out there, again, the way we live in gaming today, hell, look at Alien Isolation. When that first came out, that game was basically, you have to save at these checkpoint moments, otherwise you're going to go back like an hour or so.
Yeah, there's so many things we've taken for granted, and remakes help on that.
Yeah, so again,
as far as Sonic Adventure, like, right now, yeah, BSP brings up that people love to hate on the Adventure, because, yeah, Adventure 1 and Adventure 2, and I've said this in my streams of both games, they have not aged well. Like, back then, it was so cool to see Sonic in 3D. Like, the models were great. Even the DX ones with their remakes, and I just dropped a cable on the floor for some reason. They were good at the time, and according to Gamer Guy 7 Aces, he does some Sonic theories, and he does Sonic is Big Relevant video. That's a quick plug for that Gamer Ray, who also did...
Check's in the mail, buddy.
He's getting no check. And it was a collab with Exo Paradigm Gamer, who also did some remake or rebreaks on the Adventure games. And at the time, and when a game came out at the time, I'm paraphrasing, so don't quote me on this, but go watch the video. He said that one of the myths at the time, Sonic Adventure got a really high rating. At the time, like nowadays, like all the ports and everything, 6 out of 10. Back then, 9s.
Yeah,
it was a game you should own. And
it was the game.
Was like, if Ocarina of Time came out after Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure would be the better game.
Ooh, that's gonna ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, I'm honestly paraphrasing, but that's from the actual that's an actual quote. So you go and check that out.
Yeah.
So it's easy to understand at the time they were good, but today look at Sonic Unleashed. That's still the best looking Sonic game we've ever had. Especially like if you see A Plus Start's video on the pixel low poly videos.
Yes.
It's like
Right.
on the cuffs of the hands, there was so many fucking polygons, so many unnecessary polygons, over 3,000 of them.
Yeah. Which they are pointing out is if you look at some of the other models, particularly he points out that if you look back at the history of Sonic in 3D, the way he looked was down to the fact of this is all the technology can handle. By the time they got to release, just thinking, why not? We can totally make his cufflinks look really, really good.
Even though it's very unnecessary.
Yeah, exactly. It means it's unnecessary, but it's like to them, it's like screw it. We've got the technology now. Let's try it.
Yeah. So like, we have the technology now, which is with Adventure 1 and 2 being replayed as many as they can. People still love them. People hate them because of IGN and Game Grumps and other people. Like, hey, I'm popular. This sucks, and everyone fucking
Look at me play it
parrots them.
badly.
It's like look at like when the Nostalgia Critic reviewed bad films that are considered just guilty pleasures. It's like, oh, it's bad now.
Yeah. Well, again, it's kind of the whole joke with him is basically what we thought was great at one point doesn't always necessarily mean it's going to be great now, but that's part of the fun with him. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But the thing, like you said with Sonic Adventure, the idea of them remaking it, I mean, obviously the first thing you really have to think about is, okay, how much of them would they want to keep in the original game and how much they would want to fix? I mean, one thing I would definitely like to fix is the camera stuff, because that's something that's always been a bugbear in the 3D games.
So, like, fix the camera, fix the controls, fix the loading times, fix the fucking lip syncing.
Get the audio syncing right.
Get the audio, not the syncing, the fucking levels right in Adventure 2.
Yeah, you never get that right.
It's like, it's like, what did you say? I'm trying to hear over the background music.
Yeah, talking over each other's lines, bloody hell. And even then, I mean, something I would like, and this is just how petty I am, is I want a subtitle option.
Yeah, I remember how fucking happy you were. It's like, oh, hey, in Unleashed, you could turn the subtitles off.
Yeah, I know that it seems the most mundane thing to ask, but trust me, we've gone through this era where, let's be fair, we've heard bad dialogue. It's one thing to hear it, then read it at the same time.
Yeah, it's like,
very frankly.
at least I hear it in Japanese. I can't tell whether or not they're phoning it in or not, because you know what? I can't understand shit.
Yeah, exactly. So at least, and it does seem to be a weird thing now with every other major game. Like Unleashed had it, Colors didn't, Generations had it, Lost World doesn't. So by technicality, Forza should have it, and I would be more than miffed if they don't.
Sonic Boom has it.
Well, there you go. So there's a bad game that at least learned one lesson I wanted. So there you go. But then again, that's the idea. I would be very interested to see how they would try and do these games again. Because let's be fair, Adventure 1 and 2 were ambitious. These were big, ambitious games. And I think remaking them from the ground up would be an interesting task. I mean,
the only problem I see, though, is that today's technology, a lot of the modern style gaming, is just basically, hey, let's play it like a car. Rather than then, it's just, here's a 3D world, 360 control movement. Which, to be honest, is not bad because games still do it today. Mario still does it. Ratchet and Clank still does it. Like there's a lot of games. Like another one called what was it? Like A Hat in Time is going to hopefully come on a Nintendo Switch. That still uses 3D movement. Ukulele. So it's a lot. Basically, how can you actually change? How much will you change it?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing I think some people, again, I know if they do this, if they ever do, I mean, they will end up changing stuff people won't like. And I particularly think control will be the big one because the way those two control in Adventure 1 and 2 are very different. And you would arguably want to emulate as much of that as you can rather than just take the boost to win formula.
It's like there's so much you can change where it actually feels nothing like it. It's the same reason why Sonic Unleashed changed from Adventure 3. Like, does this feel like Adventure? No. Well, just change the title.
No, I mean, in the end, they intended it to be an Adventure 3 because they felt like, okay, that's what they want. And then they realized halfway through, you know what, the way it is, if we continue like this and we slap the name on, they're just going to throw shit in our faces, so change it.
Yeah. And especially, it's like, another reason why I don't get, like, I adore the amount of time and effort people put into the mods of Sonic Generations. Not disrespecting them. It's like when you got a shit mod, you deserve shit for. It's like it's a Five Nights mod. What is it? It's just something with a Freddy hat. That's all it is. I appreciate the time waiting to fucking put on the model in, but honestly, what the hell?
Mm.
But is there? What the thing I want to talk about is like when people port older game levels into generations, like Grand Metropolis from Heroes. It's like it's good to see that level in this game, but the level wasn't designed for it.
No.
Like with Unleashed Colors and Generations and Upcoming Forces, the levels were specifically designed for that gameplay.
Mm.
With Sonic Adventure, it's like it's kind of a linear path, but there's some platforming in between. There's some turns.
There's one or two areas you can go to
There's
for fun.
a couple of secrets here and there if you've got the upgrades. It's designed for that gameplay style. Sonic Unleashed, you go through Rooftop Run. It's basically here's one long path, some side steps, and a large turn, and some grind rails.
Yeah, I mean, by generations, when they did it again, that's when they okay, lower path, middle path, higher path.
Yeah, and when it comes to the 2D sections, especially in Sonic Colors, they're designed. I'll just knock my leg into the table. Sonic Colors, there's a lot more 2D platforming, so the boost isn't really necessary. When it is, it's just when you do boost in the 3D section, it's just boosting. That's all it is.
It's more of a set piece moment, as we said.
That's why the platforming is a dominantly 75% of the game.
Mm.
So remaking Sonic Adventure, you have to still keep faithful to that level design. Because you change it to actually incorporate into modern gameplay, then it's not Sonic Adventure anymore. You might as well just make Sonic Adventure free.
Yeah. Then again, even then, I don't know whether you lot will be happy with that. But like you said, it's putting it like this, going back to Crash. I mean, the big thing they talked about is they want to recreate the original level geometry. In fact, I think they got Sony to go back and find the data, how they originally made those levels. And particularly, it's like they really want to emulate that game, the first three games, as much as they can. But of course, with, as we said, with like them redoing Crash 1 in it, obviously it's like, well, is he going to play like that all three games? Are you going to do him's going to play special for that one? It's again, that's always the argument of how much do you do of an improvement, an actual improvement to say to make this game more flexible, more playable, just easy to handle, and overall just more, you want more people to play it. That's ultimately what the point of a remake is. You saying you want to show this game that came out years ago and saying, here you go, here's a game from the mid-90s, we've updated a few things so you won't get totally lost, or we'll handhold you because we know gamers can't do that anymore. And again, that's a different story.
It depends how well you do it. It's actually there's tutorial and then there's tutorial level design.
Yeah, but like I said,
I saw a video by the Foxcade, which you all should subscribe to. He deserves more love than this measly 1.9 thousand subscribers.
It's amazing. We always plug other people, but not ourselves that often.
I don't need to plug myself.
All right.
Like the comparison between Shovel Knight and Mighty Number 9. Mighty Number 9 is like the beginning. You pick up a Mega Man game. It's like, okay, you jump, you shoot, you move. I got it. Yet Mighty Number 9 needs to like, you know what? Here's the buttons. Here's what you do. Have fun. It's like I don't need to. I can figure it out on my own. With Shovel Knight, it's like you don't know you can actually do a down strike with the shovel. It's not until you come to a point where it's like, how do I figure this out? It's like, oh, I pressed. Okay, can I go down? Oh, I can actually strike down on the dirt. Then later you come up to with bubbles and it's like, oh, I can bounce on the bubbles to get to a higher ledge. That's teaching through level design.
I mean, it's something that Mega Man X originally did.
Yeah. So it's like there's always so. Hopefully, I don't know why we went on to that one discussion with that, but bringing it all the way back to should there be remakes of Adventure 1 and 2? Yes. You can up the graphics to that of the Hedgehog engine, or even just a modified Havoc engine. You can change the level design slightly to incorporate some new elements, and also it does like expand the fucking adventure field. Like A Station Square, what was it? It's just two roundabouts connected by one street. That's all it is. You think about
that is by today's standards. I mean, let's be fair, they were trying to do an RPG in a platforming game.
Like having hub world is fine, but at least when it comes to like, the hub worlds in Unleashed were still small, but at least they were actually
the most detailed and had things to do.
Yeah, they actually had detailed things to do. It wasn't just oh hey, we're isolated through these little towns, and the only time we get our news is one little newsstand shop like stuck in a corner. And our only escape is a roundabout loop-the-loop Mobius stripped speed highway.
Mm.
So it makes it make more make the adventure feel a bit more expansive, and also just have better lip sync and dialogue.
But yeah, obviously. I mean, first of all, if we want anything to improve, make sure the faces don't go fat all the bloody time.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a first super chat. Callum
Ooh.
Sparrow asks, with how big Generations PC modding was and still is in the past 6 years now, how big would you think the Force's PC modding will be?
Oh, the character-wise, bigger, I would say.
Bigger. It will be
Yes.
bigger. I got asked the same question during the um, live stream, and they say, yeah, I guarantee you, every single character model will be ported from Generations into Forces. So you can play as Rouge, SBO, maybe some like custom models like Sally or Mighty. The custom character mods will actually be changed as well. Like, oh hey, let's port in the Boom Sonic and see how all that works.
Yeah, hell,
Because the grappling hook is basically the end beam anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the little thing over there. But again, I was actually talking to a friend of mine this the other night, and I asked her, like, what do you feel about with Forces? Like, oh my god, this is totally. I'm just going to go in there and make Nat the Weasel or Techno the Canary, pretty much.
I want to see Techno Canary in
That'd be fun.
Forces.
This is Sonic comic love, ladies and
I wouldn't be
gentlemen.
surprised if actually there is a bird, but we're not too sure what the bird will look
Well,
like.
they do, yeah.
Yeah, so who knows? You can get a green canary looking character. It's like here's Techno. She's
Yeah.
official now. She works along with Sonic.
You could have her with Amy.
And
as
not
well.
to mention porting levels from Forces into Generations, even though it's a completely different engine. Because then again,
It's not great.
people are ported colors into Generations, and
I know people that managed to port in. I know people that managed to do the backwards way. They managed to port in Worms Armageddon levels into the original Worms game in the Amiga.
Yeah, and Chase brings up as well is accessory and customization mods. So basically, your weapons, your Wispons, which hopefully it's only the custom character getting the Wisps. Okay.
Yeah, I mean he's already talked about this, kids already. So he's already talked about this.
I don't like the Wisps. They just add it's a crutch that's no longer needed. Okay, you got Modern
More
Sonic
of a
Boost, you got Classic Sonic, custom character. Fair enough. The Wisps work with custom characters because it's like they're not meant to be like, oh hey, I'm Aeon the Hedgehog, I'm Shadow's half brother on a space colony arc, and my hair instead of black and red, my fur is silver with green stripes. That actually is a real fucking character, by the way.
Yeah, well, we are expecting that when that happens. So again, we're waiting for the storm to happen for that.
Yeah. So the modding community will be twice as big because not only do you have like, oh, I want to play as Blaze in modern Sonic, or maybe include like classic Amy in the classic Sonics, but the custom character mod is basically, hey, I want my character the way I drew them in Sonic Forces, because you know for a fact that Sonic Forces custom character is going to be limited. Because it's
that's the thing
limited.
with them.
Like for example, like from what we've seen is basically, hey, it's just full one color, peach muzzle maybe, and so nice. Like, how do you know your custom character basically has the color around the eyes like cream or marine? How do you know it doesn't have like extra bits of tufts of fur? How do you know like your female character? And SPD Nicole brought this up as well. And I agree with her. It's like the female characters seem a bit flat chested. Where's the curves? Why do you want to make a fat character? Like it's like a more chubby character. It's like you've got to represent. Like I know Sonic is athletic and you're going to show an athletic character, but hey, if Tekken 6 can have a character called Bob and do backflips, then surely Sonic can do this as well.
Yeah, well, again, there's two things I want to talk about this. One is the way we've seen the character creation at the minute, just from the trailer reveal, is that it reminds me more of the Xbox 360's avatar creation, in which you sort of had like different base models to work with, and you can, it's more a case that's something I kind of like, rather than giving you a scale of make the cheats bigger, smaller, whatever. Whether they do that when we get to see the game, we don't know. But the other thing is, it's interesting because again, I think the idea, or the character creation, is obviously these are meant to look like the sort of people that live in Sonic's world. The UG. Oh,
But as far
sorry,
as the design goes, and I agree, one person who tweeted is basically they look like the villagers from Sonic Boom.
Basically, they're meant to look like these are the inhabitants of the world Sonic lives in, at least in the main canon series, if we laughingly call it that, but
Yeah.
whatever. So again, and like you said before, is my only worry. I'm particularly interested in, more worried about whether or not they locked it off because they know people want to just do, just want to copy Amy but change one color, and maybe that's the reason they're having a limited supply. Is thinking you can make your own character, but we don't need to just blatantly just do Amy or Sticks.
At least they're following continuity by not including Echidnas, because Knuckles meant to be the last. And I'm thinking to myself, does Sega just care about continuity anymore?
I don't know.
Surprisingly, because we all also know that they follow that continuity in Sonic Boom as well, and Knuckles left Echidna there.
Yeah, well, let's be fair. With him, he was probably on the island, fell off it by accident. With Knuckles. That's how he got off Angel Island. He just walked off it.
Yeah. So, any more questions? Other than the little stuff like is Gmail? No, Gmail isn't dead. ML is dead, not Gmail.
Oh, that's completely new to me.
Yeah, the difference. ML is the orange and cream one, and the Gmail is from Sonic West 3. It's the black and yellow one.
Ah, all right. Fair enough.
Going back, there's a lot of comments on this. Train Boy 4472 says, I want to make my character extra thick.
What does he mean? You mean extra thick, mentally or physically?
Physically, and I know extra thick basically means wide hips, big ass.
Okay, good, because I doubt why you want to make your character dumber on purpose.
No, they'll make Slim the cat.
Fair enough.
Yes, I need short fuse to Cyberneck in Modern Forces. That'll be interesting. Short fuse to Cyberneck.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, also the soundtrack of Forces as well. We've only got a hint.
We got the theme.
We've got the theme, which hopefully we're gonna get some lyrics for that. We also
I'm a bit worried about that though.
And in the custom gameplay trailer, we also had a bit of music there, which started singing but then cut out.
Yes, it did.
And that sounded pretty good. It sounded a lot more harrowing. Like it's meant to be a lot more hopeful, the same way kind of like majority of movies have that.
The sort of that epic vibe. You're fighting against a much bigger, indomitable force. But yeah, I mean, again, we got a bit of a clip of a song in there, so see where that goes.
That was music from the classic Green Hill, and whatever. We hear the music; it's just hard to hear over the actual sound effects.
Yeah, well, we know the tune in the one we've seen so far is different. I know that.
Yeah. Also, Silver, Blaze, Marine, Scratch, Grounder, and Coconuts. I would love to see Scratch in Sonic bosses.
Yeah, I would love that if that was an Easter egg. I mean, I would definitely love it. I mean, Sonic Team have
just the laugh though. You hear the laugh.
Hear the laughing with the buildings. They want to destroy buildings. There you go.
Honestly, the Sonic Boom intro theme should have been the song from Sonic CD. Well, I made a fan-made intro using Chris 40 and the original Sonic Boom song to the Sonic Boom clips.
There you go. Your wish is granted. Actually, I will say this for both you viewers and thank you. Thanks.
Come on, Ralph.
Right.
Ralph.
Intermission.
Come on.
Live, everyone.
Yeah. Exactly.
The difference is he's in the UK, so right now he's having his dinner. To me, I just had lunch.
Yeah. So there you go. But I was going to say, particularly with you, Dan, and even to the audience watching, after seeing the customizable character stuff, I mean, I will say, do you not think, after thinking about it, that this still could have been the Sonic Boom character?
It easily could have been Boom Sonic.
Mm.
Like, Boom Sonic, yeah, he's still fast, he still has his home attack, but the Ender Beam seems to be a lot more apparent. It's like, if you replace the grappling hook with the Ender Beam, it could have easily been Boom Sonic.
I mean, pretty much that's what it is. I mean, in the CG trailer,
and the Wisp-Ons could easily been used as well for Boom Sonic. Yeah, he has the same abilities as basically in between of classic and modern Sonic.
Hmm.
Like he can't boost, but he has a homing attack. So
Yeah.
basically, he's the Adventure Sonic you wanted.
I would say, particularly if they didn't go down this route, say if they did all this thing, like for instance the whole flamethrower thing. I mean, whether or not you could actually switch the characters, like in the DS game, you go from Boom Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Sticks. You know, if they could have done that.
Yeah, so I still hope it was Boom Sonic. It makes sense. It's like it's a different gameplay style, and with the wrist bombs, it could have it makes sense. Like, fair enough, Sonic with a flamethrower doesn't actually make sense, but you know what? Neither does he match.
A flamethrower with Tails.
Neither does tickling robots with a feather. That was a weapon in Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric.
That was a thing. But I'm just saying that would make sense probably for Boomtails to have a flamethrower. I'm not allowed to say that.
Fuck Modern Cartoon Network. Yeah,
I guess I wonder what that's for.
Yeah, the Sonic Boom French intro is a lot better.
It is a little bit, but you know.
I wonder how many fans would be triggered if Boom Sonic was that third character. Every single one of them.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I was.
It's either you have like, no, Boom Sonic sucks. I wanted something else. I don't know what I want, but I wanted something else. If it's something else, I don't want that either. Which is what the reaction is already.
Yeah, pretty much.
But the other ones are like, I wanted Adventure Sonic. It's like, what the fucking difference?
Just about this, it's like modern Sonic that's him.
Yeah.
It's him. I mean, unless you're talking about gameplay styles, well, really, sorry, that's him.
Yeah. That's modern Sonic. It's like, what's the difference? Well, Adventure Sonic can't boost, but he can home and attack. That's about it. Okay, that's no difference from Boom Sonic. I said Boom Sonic can kick.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, if you're going to have Boom Sonic characters in, I mean, you can definitely focus more on the combat stuff, which I thought that would have been interesting for them to do.
Yeah, it's like, I know how hard. Basically, a lot of people complain about how hard Sega was pushing Boom Sonic, or it's just Sonic Boom in general, onto the audience. It's like they spent money on this; they want to make it work. I think pushing too hard. I think actually having two games that were rushed out, and one of them actually fared better because it was on the 3DS and it actually was by a development team who actually worked in previous games.
Established, team.
Zanzaru Games worked on Sly 4. It's like, hey, they went from a free explorative sneak around stealth game
and a sequel to an already good series.
Yeah, to make an original side story to an other established franchise. So they even though it was only been developed for 8 months.
Was it 8 months?
I know it's less than a year.
All right, then bloody hell.
To make that.
Then again, if I know anything about game development, I know this because of Worms WMD, is they started working on that game roughly after they released Revolution, because they wanted to basically go, okay, this is a compromise, let's make a 2D Worms game in 3D, let's now make what we were trying to do, Worms 2 the proper successor to Armageddon. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if they were planning this a lot longer, but it took them, like you said, 8 months to actually put it together.
Yeah, and actually was a decent game. Was it great? No, it wasn't a great game, but you know what? I wasn't bored. I wasn't like Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric when it took me at least a month to complete it.
I mean, hell, he got bored watching me playing it.
I watched him play Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, and I got a headache. I got a headache watching him play it.
Yeah.
How do you think I feel actually playing the damn thing? A majority of the time, I was playing it on the control pad, which is the dumbest thing you can do. Like, oh, you're gonna if I want to play on the gamepad, let me switch between it, not it's streaming both to the exact same thing on the same screen. Like, why? And why do why do all 4 top buttons evade? Why can't one of those be the fucking the scanner? Why can't one of those be the scanner or something else? But no.
Yeah. Any more, or should we get on to our last thing to talk about?
Which one was that?
Well, about a certain redo of 2 very popular Dreamcast games.
We already talked about that.
No, I'm just saying, particularly the confirmation that it's probably happening and who it came from.
Oh, okay, yeah. Completely forgot about that.
See, I'm the brains of this operation.
I get distracted, okay?
Right.
Firstly, Shenmue 3 Kickstarter and whatnot was a success. In fact, it's the biggest success on Kickstarter.
Yeah, although we haven't heard too much news since then.
No, but all we can only hope is, hey, it's on the PlayStation 4, and hey, you know what? Maybe we could actually see a port of Shenmue 1 and 2 HD remastered for these consoles.
Hmm.
Guess what? That Just Add Water is teasing us with a remaster of Shenmue 1.
Yeah, well, what happens is basically the CEO of Just Add Water basically said, yeah, it's a real thing. Though why the hell he said that from him is already making us imply, are you guys working on it?
And
You know?
for those who don't know, Just Add Water is basically the company who helped bring back Oddworld.
Yeah, they're the ones who end up making New and Tasty. Hell, they even got it on the Wii U, which took longer than they thought, but they got it done. They got
And
it
they're
done.
currently making Soulstorm.
Well, that's the thing, actually, because one thing I've read about this is that Just Add Water works with Oddworld Inhabitants,
Swallow.
basically. And what I've heard is they are involved in anything new with Oddworld, though I don't think they have much hand in Soulstorm. I mean, I think it's been outsourced by other people, but that might be another story for another time. But essentially, these guys have done stuff already.
So hopefully this company can actually give us everyone like, hey, it's a Shenmue, that game that was actually a big thing at E3 and on the Kickstarter from Sony. Yeah, here's the game. Have fun, get into it, and if this and we're going here's part 2 to it, which strangely enough is like it's a multi-chaptered game, but the first one is like the first chapter, and the second one is like 4 chapters, and we've still got a few more chapters to go.
Yeah. Yu Suzuki's pretty weird when it comes to like when he even talks about Shenmue 3, it's like, oh, that's not even ending the story yet. It's like, oh my god, but another time.
Yeah. So HD Shenmue possibility.
Yeah. I mean, again, for a game that is often lauded for a lot of the stuff we take for granted now, the fact that we can have games where you can change the day and night cycle, quick time events, you can time actually makes a matter in the game. Anyway, when everybody talks about how influential Shenmue is, it's like people do, unless you've actually got the Dreamcast to play it, it's very hard to say this really started the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. Right now, there's an argument of what is the worst level in Sonic 1. They're saying between Labyrinth and Marble. Labyrinth.
All right.
I'll tell you right now, Labyrinth Zone is the worst fucking one. Marble Zone is slow, and the lava pits are a pain in the fucking ass, but you know what? It's doable.
You can get through it.
Labyrinth Zone is the biggest pain in the ass because it's a water level.
Mm-hmm.
And the first Sonic game with the water levels sucks. The second one worked better. The third one, I love Hydrosity Zone. Hydrosity Zone is one of my favourite levels in Sonic 3.
Hell, I was actually playing Sonic Lego Dimensions the other day, and I got to the Labyrinth Zone of that level, which... Oh boy, trying to play the Sonic character in a Lego game underwater, it's very... not easy.
I call Sonic 1 Game Boy Advance is one of the worst fucking games. Don't even bring it up. Just yes, Joa, it is unplayable.
Yes. Yes, another bad birthday present along with 06.
Riders was the only good anniversary game that year.
The ones that had at least the logo one. We can say that.
So, anyone have any questions before this stream ends?
Like who was that girl and that dog that walked through?
Okay. You know what? I may not actually split all this up. I might just actually let it. No, I can't change it, so I have to change it yet. Sonic 1 GBA is worse than 06 and Rise of Lyric. Rise of Lyric is a bad game. It's not the worst. Sonic 06 is one of the worst games, but you know what? There's some elements to it. Sonic 1 GBA is a good game. They fucked up.
They managed to make a decent game and made it worse.
Yeah. I've explained this. It's like the 4th time I'm telling this. It's like Boom Rise of Lyric and Sonic 06 had every possibility to fuck up.
Mm.
Every possibility. The programming, the quality assurance, the story, the graphics.
The
time-
deadlines, just
it
getting it
had
out.
every possibility to fuck up.
Mm.
Sonic 1 and Game Boy Advance was an already good game.
Yeah, and somehow you managed to make
You
a decent
somehow managed to
16-bit
fuck
game.
it up.
You managed to make that not work on a Game Boy Advance, for God's sakes.
Here's a question from Sonic the Hedgehog himself.
Ooh.
What is your favourite modern Sonic game? And if we're going to go by technical standards from basically, which is what 06 today, or
Yeah.
even Adventure today, Unleashed.
Me, it's sort of Unleashed / Gens, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, Unleashed is Unleashed for me is just more original, great story, great graphics, even good controls. The Werehog wasn't crap. I don't care what anyone says. I will say, oh, the Werehog is so different. Yeah, that's the entire point of the game. He has
You wouldn't complain.
He has stretchy arms. It's a
Put it this
gameplay
way.
feature.
Put it this way, you wouldn't complain if it was Knuckles. I mean, hell, they could have easily called this Sonic and Knuckles a Dark Gaia adventure.
Yeah. Shadow Stick saw Sonic 1 at a flea market, wanted to spit on it. Guess what? I own that now.
Somewhere.
I own Sonic 1 Genesis. I own that.
Oh dear. Did they call it that over here? Did they not call it Sonic Mega Drive, or did they just still call it Genesis?
No, it was only available in the United States.
Ah, okay.
So if you want to be a collector in the UK, you have to import that crap. Or just hope someone actually has it in a retro game store. It's like, oh hey, look, it's the American version of Sonic the Hedgehog on Game Boy Advance. Like,
Yay, rubbish.
yay, put it on the shelf, keep it there, let it gather dust. I'll probably just, I don't know,
A relic
shoot
from the past.
spitballs at it from a distance. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
what I'll do.
basically it's a mess. It's a warning for the past. Never again.
Someone asked, what if you combine Sonic 1 GBA 06 and Free Riders? You get one of the worst pieces of crap in history.
Well, I just say you get a black hole, and we will all be sucked into its never-ending voidness.
Yeah. Right. Okay, we spent over an hour on stream.
Yeah.
And we're going to be closing opus. Time for a good question. One more really good question.
Yeah. See, who could it be? Surprised I haven't heard from Junior actually.
No, he's back now. He went to karate.
All right. Okay.
Very, very quiet.
Or it could be anything. It could be like, how does Nicky get his fabulous hair like that? It's like, well, I could tell you.
Sonic, it's not exactly a good question. It's like, what's your favorite classic game? Sonic 1.
I can never pick, actually. I keep jumping, really. I can never pick. I mean, I end up playing... I guess, if anything, I would play 2 and 3 more than 1, but I would play any of them.
Yeah, I can play any of them as well. It's like I always gravitate towards the first one.
Mm-hmm. But that said, if I was trying to be cheeky, I would say Sonic 4, but I don't know if anybody would want that.
How do you think the custom character would be introduced in Sonic Forces? Portal.
Time
He's
travel,
like-
snap again.
Just a portal that comes out of nowhere, or maybe Eggman creates it and the custom character is a robot.
I mean, if anything, hell, they could have done, if I'm going to be cheeky, they can have it where the cutscene is, we're in the city, it gets attacked, Sonic and the gang come up, and then he basically says, we need one of you to do it, and it's literally like, they just point at the screen, and then you suddenly, character selection.
Either that or the hero saves them.
Yeah.
That probably the most laziest form of writing, aside from a
I don't,
portal
well,
from
again, you have to
space and
remember that Sonic Team come up with the basis of what it is, although what actually happens in terms of what they say, that's a completely different story.
time. You see my cat? Come on. There's a wicket. Right.
There's your cat, everyone.
Yep.
Every YouTube video's got to have a cat somewhere. Especially with its art sticking out the back.
Yeah, having fun. So, thank you everyone for joining us on the 100th episode live stream of the item box. Hopefully you enjoyed looking at the cat's ass.
Yeah, we hope we haven't bored you with our maddening rambles, but hey, it's been fun doing this.
Yeah, so expect us for episode 200.
Yeah, if we're still around.
One more from Sheddick Stick.
Oh, okay, good.
What Sonic game do you think has the least amount of flaws?
I would say Gen. From a technical terms, I would say Gen.
In terms of what you see as flaws, for me, it's like, is it a technical flaw or is it a content flaw? For me, I would say the least amount of flaws would be in terms of like, if you go technical, like glitches, programming, whatnot, I say Unleashed is the least flawless game.
Yeah, at least those two, yeah.
The cat's name is Wicket. You know, from Star Wars.
Yes.
So if you're gonna go with like least amount of flaws in terms of enjoyment, I'd say Generations as well. Something right, the least amount of problems is complex. Yeah, that's a problem. If it takes a while to take all the master, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like, easy to play, hard to master. That's the rule.
So, thank you all for watching. We'll do this in another 100 episodes or so. Maybe that'll be like a year from now.
Yeah, if we're lucky, who knows? Maybe if we happen to get forces at the same time, maybe we'll do a simultaneous review with each other. That could be fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
That would be fun.
So thank you all for doing the questions and replying to our news sources. This is one hell of a mess of a live stream, but well, it was fun.
Well, I've seen worse. I've seen worse. I'm not sitting in my bed with my shirt off, eating food, because apparently somebody did that and they got hit big ratings.
I'm gonna eat a block of cheese. Subscribe.
So, yeah, but anyway, if you, like I said, you want to hear more of us, check out our regular item box. Our Boom podcast will hopefully be getting the next one up, and the epic robots in the sky, hopefully.
So, see you all next time.
See ya.